Welcome to Sideline to Baseline with your host MB and K Lou. Y'all, what's going on?
What up?
Hey, look, we got Double A in the building. Um, man, we love him with his comments and stuff like that. He done co-hosted a few shows, man, and by popular demand, he's back. We're gonna start this thing off right. Man, that took me back. I'm like, where they at, girl? Or where they at, girl? I took y'all too far back. But look, uh, he's a problem. Is back in the building, and we're gonna start this thing with them LA Lakers. We finally got a win, baby, and quietly, mama, there goes that man. Anthony Davis, baby, 42, 5, and 12 boards. And wait a minute, 3 blocks. MB, but the important part, all that 15 or 17 shooting. That's what happened. He was lights out, and he had 3 back spasms. So look, hey, and guess what? Guess who practiced today? Yeah, that guy LeBron. That guy had all full. He was full, ready to go. Had the whole all the non-contact drills taken off, and but his whole homeboy AD holding it down while he out. He's a problem, MB.
He had to
He
talk
told
about them Lakers, man.
what Double A, you got a problem. I think it's your boy Russell.
Oh man! Anytime you can put yourself and Oscar Robertson side by side in that rarefied air, you know you're doing amazing things. 50 points, 1 dime, 5 boards, and 2 blocks. He had 33 points, 15 dimes, and 19 boards the other night and 2 blocks. Now he's got to do it without Beal. Because I saw Beal's out with a couple injuries, so they're going to be in that play, and they're going to cause somebody some nightmares. You don't want to face that team right now in the playoffs.
He dropped and gave him 50? Double A?
50. Westbrook. They said that it hadn't been done since Oscar Robertson. He's got more triple doubles than Oscar, or the same amount, or some crazy stat I heard the other night.
Man, and keeping the party going. A couple nights ago, that guy that shooter from half court from time to time, man, and make it look like it's a layup. That's what they say now. He take 2 dribbles across half court, and they holler layup. That guy Steph Curry, 49 points, 2 assists, 5 boards, and not 1, not 2, but 3 whole basketball quarters, y'all. He got it in. That's how you get it in. You take 2 dribbles from half court and say layup, splash. One part of the splash, brothers. Stephen Curry, he's a problem.
Welcome back, Mike.
Hey, that my Wi-Fi was a problem.
we thought you was involved, and then all of a sudden we ain't hitting it. It was like you.
Yeah, I'm like the thing just went off. I'm like, good Lord, my Wi-Fi, man. Golly, it was a problem. It's a problem, but I'm gonna tell you who was a problem, man. Canelo Alvarez, man, at AT&T Stadium, Dallas, homes of the Dallas Cowboys, man. In boxing, we have some real boxing, not that old fake boxing, celebrity boxing that we've been getting a heavy dose of. This where everybody trying to line up to fight that one kid, man, right? But hey, but nobody trying to line up to fight this dude, man. He's a problem, man. Middleweight division. Hey, he's trying to sweep the division, trying to get all 4 belts right now. He got 3 out of 4. End up beat Joe Saunders, man. TK, nothing but a love TKO. Good Lord, boy, he laying heavy on this dude. Hey, in between the 8th and 9th round, man. Hey, they had to weigh this thing off, man. Fraction this dude, Orbit, this eye socket, man. I mean, laying heavy, man. He not bringing no paper plates to the party, baby. He's taking out that good Mama China set, man. When he come ready to fight, one of the pound for pound champs right now, getting it done, man. Hey, Canelo Alvarez, he's a problem,
man. Laying hands.
He laying heavy, K. Lou. Laying heavy, baby.
Haymakers.
Trying to sweep that 168-pound division, man. We may have to get. You think Money Mayweather may have to come out and fight this dude, right? Who knows?
Look, man. Hey, if they give him 30 million, he'll come out.
Oh, you know he will. You know he will. He ain't turned down number callers, baby. But I'm gonna tell you who else was a problem. Ain't turned down number callers, man. Wade Miley, man. Hey, this is almost a year of the no, right? And what I mean no, hey, no hitters, man. Fourth pitcher in this short season, right? To throw no hitter, man. This dude bringing the heat, man. Hey, second no hitter in 3 days. Cincinnati leading the Cincinnati Reds to a 3-0 victory against Cleveland Indians. Hey, all he did, he walked 1 and struck out 8 in 114 pitches. Hey, he's a problem. Hey, the Indian manager, man, he was like, man, hey, that dude just kept us off balance. He only threw the ball over 90 miles per hour once tonight, but he said he put on a clinic, baby. He put on a clinic. Hey, it's like when you do something, hey, you be like, tag that play, so you can make a little highlight tape. And that's what he did, man. He put a highlight tape getting it done. Hey, he said he owed it to a little tattoo. He got his son gave him a temporary Hercules, Credible Hulk, tattoo on his arm, you know? And he said pumped him up, but hey, whatever it was, man, he got ready to go. Hey, that Joker, he's a problem in baseball for a no-hitter. Hey, anytime you do that, man, against those skilled hitters, man, hey, you definitely you bringing some noise, man. Hey, Wade Miley, he's a problem.
Wow. Another problem, MB, was that big dude out of Seattle, 6'4", 229 in your program, 240 every Sunday. Hey, look, that guy got out there with the world-class field out there on the 100-meter track, and that guy DK Metcalf went for 10, 30, 7 with just a little bit of training. And we all know if you done been out on a track before, I don't care if you didn't run for real and got blowed out like I did, or you had to go out there because your football team or your basketball team made you go out there. You understood that track ain't no joke. When you get out there on that track, all them angles, all that cutting people off, that goes out the window. You got to get in a straight line and you run, and then that thing start turning the curve, and then you say, but I'm going straight. And you got to hug that curve, get up, and then it's
and then your head start bobbing.
Your jaw.
Hey, and then all of a sudden, if you was me and they throwed you out there on the quarter, for what? All of a sudden, you get halfway and you say, who owns me? Get off of me.
That gorilla, baby. That gorilla. I don't care how you try to pace yourself, all that stuff. That gorilla be waiting for you on that curve, baby. What? He be waiting for you. He be waiting to jump on that back, man.
He is amazing, and it's definitely crazy. When I wanted to show y'all this though, MB, if that guy DK Metcalf was running in the state in Texas,
I saw that.
Not first place, not second place, not third place, not fourth place, not fifth place. Fifth place finished with a 10-18. Are you kidding me? Not sixth place, not seventh place. DK, you would have barely beat Logan Papaleka.
Yeah.
Hey, boy.
Yeah, I saw that same thing, my boy. Well, you remember Daryl Jones, our teammate? He posted that on his site, and that's Texas high school.
That's where I stole it from. I stole it from Daryl Page.
Oh, you saw it? Yeah, that's the high school now. That's how they doing the high school.
Yeah,
so they get it done.
That ain't college, LB.
Right. That's high school.
DK, you got some work to do, baby.
Hey, that's high school. Hey, and no doubt about it. I mean, I call it. They got that ice cream truck speed, man. When you an ice cream truck, you hit an ice cream truck, you like ice cream. You trying to run to catch that light pole to light pole, baby. They getting it done, man. They getting it done. Well, when we was in college, man, I don't know how y'all used to do it, but when we was in college, and we had a bunch of dudes on our team for Texas, man. We used to go back and forth about Texas track against Florida track. Right. And they used to tell stories, man. They had this dude called Robo and Batman and all this stuff. I mean, they got some legends when it come to that track, man. That track's serious, boy. That track's serious at Texas, man. We used to stay up all night, man, just talking about track, man. You know how it is. You compete Florida against Texas and all that stuff, man. They go to that track, man. They tell some story. That track is serious out there in Texas. So I'm not surprised those times like that, because that stuff is serious, man.
Yeah, MB, let's be honest with it. They took it serious. All the guys we knew that ran track that was also football players, they was ducking and dodging track coaches. They wasn't showing up to practice. They'll show up to a meet and still run a 10-2, 10-3.
Yep,
and then not show up again. So those guys in Texas really took it serious. And that's why they do it. They do it like that. Down here, boy, it was very few guys that were just track guys. Because generally you was a football player who they stole from football to run track. So, yeah, it just wasn't the same attitude. I mean, LB, I can tell you a story. I had one of my teammates in high school wake up out of his bed running 10-6. That's OZ, Omar Zachary, baby. Shout out to my boy. Wake up out of his bed, 10-6, right? LB, so me and my other homeboys, 3 of us, I used to drive to the track meet, because anybody ran track, it goes all night long. So I drove to the track meet. I'm not staying. So they used to have me throwing. So I throw LB, shot, discus, that's first. Then we gonna watch that 100, that 200, the quarter, and then they just the heats. So, but in our mind, we know who about to win once we watch them heats. Okay, it's now time to go. MB, that joker, we would try to sneak away, and that joker tried to chase us out the stadium, trying to get in the car with us to leave. Now he got to run a final, MB. And he leaving because he I ain't staying all night. So we start of course, coach get mad at us because he in the car with us. So we start hiding from it. It'll be that joke start waiting by the car. So that's what I'm telling y'all, man. Hey, we ain't taking serious down here.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, you right about it. You right about it. Yeah.
Man, but I mean, the Joker is 240 doing that, man, because he probably he might have been 229 for this meet, MB, but he'll never be that again.
Oh yeah, I mean, you a guy like that to run a 10.37. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, I know he finished back in the pack, but I mean, just a first track meet out the block like that, run a 10.3, at that size, man, that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
What's his 40 time?
A 4.33. Yeah, and the last time he ran track was in high school,
Mm-hmm.
So what happened was they got that play on NFL where he hawked down Buda Baker and the USA track and field person made a comment about it. His agent jumped on it like, hey, we'll give us an invitation, and he accepted the invitation. As soon as the season was over with, started training, started getting it done. But first track meet out the block, 10.37. I mean, man, that's crazy, But he realistic. He don't have that American Idol syndrome like, oh, let me keep trying and let me get going. I'm going to make it Olympics. He realized, look, hey, football is my money. This is where I'm going to make my living. Because they was like, you're going to keep trying. He's like, look, it was great, but I got to get ready for minicamp. So,
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But it was good, though. Just to see that dude do what he did at that size, man, that's crazy.
MB, and I think, honestly, to give it a fair shake, he 50 pounds from that, bro.
You said what?
He's 50 pounds for making that a real for trying to
get
that.
I mean, yeah.
You'd have to change
he's
his
that much heavier than he like them dudes be featherweight. You saw him out there looking like he played D-line.
Right. Yeah. He got muscles on top of muscles, man. No,
You looking at the other guys and you say, who is that and why is he out there?
Right.
But
Looking like Ben Johnson cousin.
Hey, he was running like, please not last, please not last. But it was, he did way better than that, than a whole lot of us. And,
yeah, I mean, the fact to me, it reminded me of like Shaq, right? And hit me out when I say about Shaq, man. Like that show. Have you watched that reality show with Shaquille O'Neal?
No.
He's got a reality show, man, and this dude get it in, man. I mean, whatever he want to try, he ain't got no problem failing. He don't care. He's like right now trying to be a DJ this last season show and like trying to be a DJ and trying to get it done and going to different competitions, man, and just trying different things. And the fact, man, life is too short, man. And just shoot, I mean, dude like that, like, okay, let me give it a try. You can't, he's not a word about failing, man. He's tried it. Look, I tried it. It worked out well. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's the thing I liked about it. Just the fact that he even tried it. You know, he's like, man, I'm going to go out and give it a shot. Let's see what happened. Haven't ran track since high school. Let's go try it. I mean, and to me, that's impressive alone that you got the courage to go ahead and try it because you know dude's going to be talking about you, whatnot. You don't do well. And he finished in the last. Who cares, man? He went out there trying to have fun. So it reminded me of that Shaq thing. Shaq, like, look, man, I'm going to try. I'm going to live life, man, to the fullest. And that speaks volume with me, to me.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think the 10-3 time don't matter if he came in 85th place. Anybody that ran track know 10-3 for real.
Right. And just think, and that's his first time. You keep running, you're gonna get better and better. That's the first. Yeah. Usually, track season, at the end of the season, you running faster. That's crazy, you know.
I don't think he can run anything under a 10:27 at that size, though. That's
I mean, yeah, he definitely have to lose weight. He definitely have to lose weight.
But y'all, go ahead.
Just from physics alone, has he taken up that much wind? Unless he got a wind behind him. I mean, that's crazy,
man. Well, look, staying in that same NFL lane.
Hey, K-Lou, yeah. Before you do that, answer Stephen Rivers, my man Rivers' question. Since we stand in a football game.
Because of his question, though, LB, you know we're gonna touch on that later on. I saw that. If you're coming out of high school, then college, what does the scheme have to do with drafting you? Is it because of a 3-4 or 4-3? Explain. So just a quick explanation of a 34 and a 43. A 3-4 is 3 D linemen and 4 backers. And then a 4-3 is the opposite. It's 4 D linemen and 3 linebackers. So that's the simple gist of that. It has a lot to do with who's drafting you, an absolute lot. Because MB, I don't know what I just heard this, but somebody was saying, I think it was Skip Bayless, man, that was saying, I think it was him and Shannon Sharp arguing about who's the greatest player ever or something like that. And I think Shannon was really trying to say it was LT, which I believe. Okay, just throw that out there. And Skip Bayless was saying it can't be a defensive player. It's got to be a quarterback. One of my reasons for it being LT is in a 34, those 2 outside linebackers, they're like hybrid DNs that are freakishly athletic. So your most freakish DN, they better than him. All of them, not just some of them. So that's LT position, and they're still drafting him to this day. Am I lying, LB? He's the only guy in the NFL that has a prototype that everybody drafts every single year. They're trying to find him. I don't think there is another position that they're trying to do that. So that was my LT rant.
But Charles Haley's had as many rings as Brady, or did Brady wind up with more than him at this point?
He's got more.
Yeah.
But you got so the scheme has a lot to do with it. When you are a rush in, you need to be in a 4-3. A 3-4 makes you have to be a freakish athlete, and you got to cover now. Like, for real, like we expect you to cover running backs, tight ends, and sometimes slots. You have to cover. I don't care what you talking about. Your behind got to cover. So you don't want a true rush in playing in no darn 3-4. What you doing is you dictating that he's never going to cover. He's always coming. So you've telegraphed your defense. Okay. But if you do make him cover, then we going to expose you because we throwing at him. So hopefully that wasn't too confusing, MB. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I think as far as just to add to that, and you kind of hit on it, it depends on who you are as a player, right? Because I always said when we go talking about, choosing in the NFL, obviously they're drafting you. Then when you become a free agent, right, you gotta factor in, you choose them for the most part if you put yourself in that position. And one thing I learned is that some guys, even though a team was paying them more money, they chose the wrong scheme to display their ability, right? So for me, I was cognizant of that. I was like, you know what? I need to make sure that even though the money is there, that's what you want, but also I want to make sure that I pick the right scheme as well. That's going to showcase my ability and put me in the best position to play. So just like K. Lou talked about, if you LT, I mean, he could do anything, but in that 3-4 scheme, it highlighted his ability because now LT was a nose guard at North Carolina at one point. Then now he's stand up in the 2-point stand outside linebacker. That scheme was fit him, but showcase his ability to the max. But it's some guys who say if you're a defensive end and used to having your hand down and now you get drafted by a 3-4 scheme, right? I.e., I'm curious to see what Jalen Phillips does if they put him at outside linebacker, put him at defensive end in the New England Patriots scheme, and just see. So then now that's a big difference. Are you more effective? Some guys more effective with a hand on the ground. Some guys more effective standing up. And then if you transition to the inside, when you talk about 3-4, it's a couple layers to that. You got a 3-4 scheme with New England run where they have more bigger inside linebackers and they take on guards and stuff like that. Then you got the Pittsburgh Steelers scheme where it's more blitz oriented, so they have smaller linebackers because they cover those guys and they blitz and they run and hit. So it all based on the inside guys, based on what scheme they're running, right? That fits your ability, For example, like Derrick Brooks, one of the best off the ball weak side linebacker in a classical 3-4 scheme, you wasting his ability. Or he's not a pass rush outside linebacker, He's an inside, keep him covered, let him run and hit type guy. So the scheme does make a difference as far as you putting yourself in the right scheme to showcase your ability with the 4-3 and the 3-4 is based on your ability, and it's up to the team when they're drafting you to say, okay, this guy fits our scheme. This guy's exactly the type of player that I'm looking for in this scheme.
And MB, I'm gonna bring a little a few problems to this conversation, and
please do.
And I know because everybody gonna hear this name and cringe, but I think I always felt like it was his fault for going there, and them paying him all that money and not changing the scheme to what he was great at, and that's Albert Haynesworth when he went to the Redskins. Yeah. They took a guy that was a 3-4-3 technique / nose that's fighting the edge of that guard, splitting the gap of that center, and a pass rusher. This dude was a big old pass rusher, and they told him to got him in a 3-4. MB told him to take 2.
Never heard of him again.
And everybody in entire NFL, players and media turned on him and boo-booed on him. And I was like, whoa, how y'all gonna give a man that kind of money and not do what you paid him to do?
Right. Yeah, and to me that you can apply that to a lot of different positions, quarterbacks and all this stuff, running back. Being in that right scheme makes a whole lot different. Now, some dudes, Randy Moss, it don't matter what scheme you put in, just throw the ball up. Some dudes can maximize it, but trust me, man, that scheme, what you have them to showcase that guy ability, that's a lot, and I see that. Become, like you said, a lot of times a big free agent guy that go to a different place and it's not, and they don't fit the scheme. And so they only there for 2 years and they end up getting cut. And that's what I saw, man. So that's why it was important for me when I became a free agent. You know, like I said, the money was good, but I was like, man, I want to be in the right scheme, you know, showcase my ability. Because for me, like I tell you, like I left Houston Oilers, right? And then I went to Carolina Panthers. And at that time, that was that 3-4 blitzing scheme, Don Capers, Vic Fangio. That's the scheme you want to be in. And for me, because I rushed the passer and I could play inside and outside, it was perfect. And they brought me in to play inside. Well, what happened, Kelvin Greenup holding out. And then now I had to move from inside to outside at the left outside linebacker position with that position where you two gapping. I'm only 235, you know, two gap. And I was like, it wasn't a fit. And I was like, wow, it was the most frustrating season for me. And obviously, I'm not making excuses. You just go out there and play ball. And I led the team with 8.5 sacks, but I missed 8, you know. But for me, it was tough because that I was better, right, off the ball, running hit on first and second down, and then on third down, you know, get it in position, go get it. And for me to have to play the left side and take on the tight end, it wasn't a scheme fit for me, you know. And so that was humbling. That was humbling. That was frustrating. But those are the type of things that you see where you see a guy and in that scheme, it could be the wrong scheme or they showcase him the wrong way. And it can have a negative effect, you know?
And MB, again, to add to what you said, that's a different mentality position. That's not the same position from being inside to moving outside, and you got to fight with. MB took it easy. He didn't tell y'all. He just said tight end. He fight with tackles. Every that's a different animal.
Yeah, no doubt. It's a totally different. But that's the thing. But you see that a lot, you know, especially when you talk about scheme. Dudes got to use them right. Sometimes it's just a perfect fit, you know, getting that thing done, man. You know, quarterbacks the same way. I mean, why? If you're going to spend this first round pick and all this money on a quarterback, you better find out what he likes and do what fit him, you know? And that's why, I mean, with Baltimore Ravens, they changed everything, built their offense around Lamar Jackson to showcase what he could do. And that's what you need to do. You need to build that scheme around him so they can get that thing done so you can put him in the best position to win. And it applies that with a lot of different players, a lot of different positions, as well.
Well, moving right along, guys, should the Texans move on from Deshaun Watson? This is a touchy one, y'all. Double A, take it away.
You got to hedge your bet regardless from a business standpoint. You don't have a choice at this point. You don't know if he'll see the light of day at this point. So,
yeah, and I think that they hedged their bet to some degree, right? They got Tyrod Taylor, right? They drafted a quarterback for Stanford in the 3rd round. And then I think they traded for a guy from Cincinnati early in the offseason. But, you know, I mean, they kind of put an advantage on it. They haven't they slowly started, you know, position themselves what they got to do. But I think this point right now, I think you still got to wait it out. You know, you still got to, unless you get something concrete where you're like, okay, it's going to go either way. I think at this point you got to protect yourself what they're doing and have somebody in a position. They got Tyrod Taylor who can play. He could be a stopgap and get him going. Right, he's still a quality starter to this. Been in this season. This league for a minute. I hate what happened to him last year. He was taking a painkiller shot and the doc actually punctured his lung.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah, because he was starting. You know, and then obviously. He didn't start no more because Herbert took advantage of that and got it going. But what I'm saying though, for me, if I'm Houston Texans, right, I got to cover myself just in case, right? Think worst case scenario if he's not coming. But at this point, K-Lou, to answer your question, I wouldn't cut bait just yet, unless I get something concrete evidence that, you know what, boom. Now I heard when I heard this one part that he did have some relationships with some of them, I was like, oh God, that's not good, you know?
The attorney came out and said they were consensual. I was like,
oh. I know. When he said that, I was like, oh, okay, that was like, oh, you know? So because I was telling K-Lou, because Pac Jam brought up a great point about, you know, he questioned the fact, like, obviously, if he's guilty, he deserved whatever punishment they give him. But then Pac-Jam said the only thing about it is that why didn't they go to the police first when you seeking finances over justice, right? Whatever, right? And then my question, and I agree, and I like what Pat said, that I kind of opened my eyes like, yeah, you're right. That's a great point. And then my point was, but I say, man, as a professional athlete, when you talk about massage, that's an essential part, like, of your program, your regeneration program. And I'm not taking a chance on just anybody giving me a massage, you know? Cause you know that part is serious. So I was just curious. I was like, man, it makes no sense to me why he's just got these random people massaging him, and especially and also during the season. I could see all season you take a break, right? But in season, I mean, that's your bread and butter. Your body's your bread and butter, man, and you just don't have anybody work on it, you know. So that was a question mark for me. But I want to see how this thing pan out.
Well, when you look at it, man, I don't know how some teams around the league can overlook them. Do you guys think teams should be trying to still get them just to see if you know what teams, if you're in Indianapolis right now, or you Cleveland or somebody, are you still gonna take a shot?
No, to me right now, he's off limits. You know, nobody's gonna take a shot until they clear this thing up, man.
He's a third rail. If I'm Houston, I'm questioning whether you got to see whether it's voluntary or whatever the workouts or training camp. You even let him into camp if he's that much of a distraction.
Hey, Steven say the Giants need him.
They do.
You ready to take a shot?
What's your thoughts, K-Lou?
I really believe if I'm a team that I got a guy, but I'm not super proud of him, I'm taking a shot, man. Like you right now,
get him cheap.
If he plays, they'll still have they stuck with the big money contract. I can just give him anything. I'm trying to move him. I'm not, and then if he beat the charges, there ain't no charges yet. What am I talking about? Like if he he playing. I'm bringing him in and he playing. So y'all tell me not that he can't.
I don't know. For me, I
want the distraction because a guy like that with a chip on his shoulder. Oh yeah, I love all that.
For me, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't touch it right now. Right now, I know before the allegation came out, you see Carolina Panthers. If rumors are true, they was trying to offer him a boatload of stuff for him, right? But now everything's kind of simmered down because unless you get it for cheap, right? If you can't, then here you are, you trading all these assets, right? And then now what?
You got to be able to
if it don't work out if God forbid
I'm saying you got to be able to get him for cheap.
Oh yeah, but yeah, that's the only way. But I don't think nobody gonna touch him until this thing clear up, man.
I think the bigger question is does Texas have a right to go out and cut him and get out of paying him? Does he? What does the NFLPA do with that contract? They cover.
Yeah. I don't think they can do that. You can't do nothing. You got to let it have its due process first before you cut a guy like that. You got to have, unless they can do what they want. They can cut him, but if they try to collect this money and say it's violating contract, then that's when they're going to go after him. They can cut him, and then he keep his sign-up bonus, keep everything else, and then they take the cap hit. But if they try to go recruit some money, then that's when the NFLPA is going to assume all that stuff and whatnot. So it just got to me. He's got to let it have its due process and see what happens, though. But yeah, I don't know. Like you said, it's possibility. Okay, K-Lou, you said if you can get it for cheap, like right now, who would have the guts or the balls to go ahead and make that type of trade if they can get it for cheap?
Belichick.
Guess who we was just talking about last show? We was talking about Green Bay. Why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm Green Bay and you're not so certain, or that who cares about this Jordan? What's the guy name? Jordan somebody.
Jordan Love.
Yeah. Behind Aaron Rodgers, So listen, I'm going there. This guy right here is a generational talent at quarterback. I mean, dude, he's had the Houston Texans on his back for what, 4 or 5 years now, 4 years at least. Like JJ Watt's cool and all, but he winning games. like that's cool. This guy right here will immediately, if you put him in Green Bay, y'all don't fall off. You put him in Cleveland, y'all instantly a Super Bowl contender. You put him in New York, boy, y'all about to start creating some problems. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just he flipping organizations. That's an organization flip. And I don't see how you are in the business of winning and you're not trying to inquire about what can get this done. Watch this, MB.
Yeah.
If I'm Pittsburgh, Ben, bye Ben. You in the Super Bowl tomorrow. If you know, hey, this thing ain't no easy win for Kansas City coming out the AFC. If Deshaun playing in Pittsburgh, I'm telling you, I don't know. Listen, if I'm any of those teams I just named, I'm seeing what could get it done. Because ain't no charges yet.
Yeah.
Not now. And I just have to deal with Me Too parading around my stadium every game. That's just what's got to happen. Oh, they done got us, Double A. They took me off. See what I said? Me Too, baby. They took us off. I'm gonna just have to deal with it, baby.
I dare say I don't know if it would be as bad a PR situation as what Vic went through and his comeback, but he definitely will have some protesting outside them stadiums.
I mean, again, the dude ain't been charged with. So I'm like, listen, he ain't did nothing to me till they get to fire them charges. Hey, look, Deshaun, when you can get down here, baby, we want you.
According to his attorney, it was consensual, so he paid for it. Whatever he did, it don't matter.
Hey, attorney, come on through, baby. We got a spot for you too.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I say, that's why I asked you who would have the guts to do it. Because to me, it's like what happened. It could be as a negative publicity as what's his name did, Urban did when he tried to hire that weight training coach. You know, talking about he vetting him. You know, you better have a great vetting process in this, and you make that deal. Like I said, unless it's very few people that can make a trade like that right now with all this stuff not being finalized and not get the backlash. You know, it's very few people, you know, in the league can get that done. Hey, you know,
Jared Jones, MB, Jared Jones, mad right now. He paid that before all this jumped off. He would have been.
That's what I'm saying.
The guy who's got the nerve to do it is still Belichick. That's what I'm
saying. Belichick, Jared. You mentioned Jared Jones. I mean, but those guys got Phil. I mean, now from the opposite side, if I'm the Texans, which they probably are. I'll be trying to see what I can do to get Aaron Rodgers. You know, from that standpoint, from the Texans, from the Texans trying to be aggressive to see if they can get Aaron Rodgers. You know. If they want to cut bait and not deal with this no more, you know?
Right. And listen, man, moving on to high school basketball overtime. I'm a YouTuber, y'all. I love watching YouTube. It'll be a tell you. And as soon as when I saw this, I was like, what? Because they do a ton of elite high school basketball players videos. They put cut-ups together. They tell you all about the players. So to be honest with you, I find out a lot about these high school kids through them and other Ball is Life, and it's another one that it's about 3 home team also, and they follow these kids around at these tournaments, videoing them, telling you all about them and what you know. And overtime though is kind of leading the charge. And if you guys paid attention to that article, it's some money in this.
Big money.
It's some following in this. I think they said they're getting what? 5 billion hits a month with these videos and all the marketing that they're doing with these high school players, where they coming out with a league and they're trying to pay these high school kids $100,000, pull them out of high school and let them play for them in preparation to instead of going to college. Basically,
it's really not a foreign idea, because the soccer world has been doing it for years. They're signing kids at 13 years old in Europe and South America.
Right.
And baseball, you get drafted 17, 18. You start in the minor leagues. So from that regard, I think it's totally right on. And if they're negotiating their name and likeness, I think there's a lot to be said for that. Now, the real rub where the rubber meets the road is what happens with the NCAA and the opportunity to get an education. But what is that education anymore for most of these kids that are one and done, especially that have the potential to make money at that early of an age? So might as well start young.
I say my only problem is just like Big Baller Brand ran into with I think it was the JBL. I think was the name of the team, where LeVar Ball, the dad of both of the Ball brothers, tried to start the league, or JBA, I think. The problem is not that you can't get 2, 3, maybe 4, 5, maybe 10 elite guys. But you got to find a league of elite guys. And I think that's the tough part, is that you're not going to be able to put together enough where the league is as respected as the kids being able to go overseas or play in the G League. And I think that's what this will run into.
It's got to turn into that farm system, just like soccer, just like baseball. You got to have a minor, and basketball's done it. You had the D League; it was successful before COVID, and the G League.
But the only way you do that, Double A, is you have to pull them that early. Yep. So, but do you want to see 14-year-olds playing against 19, 20-year-olds? That's what you're doing. To be able to fill an entire league with elite guys, because you're gonna have to pull them when they're way younger, because I don't believe you can get enough of them to develop an entire league. I don't even think you can put together a 16 league of this.
I had a hard time watching the quality of basketball in the NCAA this year. I thought it's fallen off so much, because I don't know if that was from COVID or just the quality of the teams.
I disagree. I think it went up. I think there was tons more parity. I think that's what losing the top guys give you. They give you back the 4-year guys, the 3-year guys.
Fair enough.
Have developed that know how to play, that are smart, that are floor generals, and all of a sudden you got issues. Because you're playing against an older team that just knows what to expect, has been through games like this, and so. Yeah, I think, a league like this is just too tough, just like the JBA and the D League or G League. Sorry. Why is it able to happen? Because you still got guys that were elite college players that are now 3 years out, 4 years out, that are still playing the G League. So that fills the rest of those spots. So now when you get, the 3, 4 guys, or even 10 guys jump out of high school straight to the G League, you can absorb them easily, because you got tons of talent, whether they show up or not. And the overtime's just not going to have that luxury.
Yeah, and that was the same question I had, K-Lou, in regards to who they going to play, Mm-hmm. And so I don't know I know, obviously it seemed like once they get paid, they consider professional teams. So it's not like they can play other colleges, or JV squads or, stuff like that, or like how prep school does. They play, they can play other teams, freshman teams, do stuff on the side. So I don't know if this is going to be like AAU paid AAU team. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because they're 16 to 18. Mm-hmm. And so now it's like saying, okay, we're going to take this team and this is going to be our AAU team. I don't know. I was trying to find some research to see who they're going to play, because that was my biggest question. Like, who are they going to play? Reason why I work in Europe and stuff like that, you see the young guys like Luke from the Mavs. He played, professional league because they got a professional league and they can play. They can sign those guys. But in America right now, when you talk about that type of exposure, $100,000, and in this league, I mean, overtime, they got some serious backing. They got to do the Amazon they started. They got Drake that's funding. They got you look at the people on their staff. They got Melo's involved with it. A lot of Devin Booker involved with it. They invested. They raised over $80 million. All right, just for this product, not just the league, but they can use the money for the league, but just for everything that overtime put together. OTE as they call it. But I'm just like you said, I had that same question. Who are they gonna play? And so I don't know. That's the question. I'm trying to do some research to find out.
Well, they're gonna play themselves, MB. So it's like the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Like they gotta get enough kids to come over to actually build.
And that's what I'm saying. I didn't. Where did you? That's where I was looking. I didn't see that, and you could be right to see that because I know with the NBA, what they did with the G League, they put all those high school kids on one team, right? And I think that was a great idea, and they paying them $500,000. And I was like, man, that's a great gap year between that high school. Right now, you got I think Brian Shaw's the coach, whatnot. They're part of the league. They're playing some great competition and stuff like that.
They're playing the G League. They're in the G League.
They're in the G League.
Who's that?
The team that you're talking about?
Are they?
They are in the G League. Yes, they are not traveling around playing nobody.
So you saying that this overtime team is going to be in the G League?
No. I'm saying the team that you were comparing them to.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. I say the NBA is great because they got the G League and that team is playing G League. That's what I'm saying. I was saying the overtime.
This team can't play the G League.
No, I understand that. I understand that. I understand that. And that's what I said. No, I understand that. I say the G League works good because that team can play the pros, but this team, that's what I'm saying. That's why I asked you. I don't know. I was trying to find out who they play because it didn't make sense to me. I had the same question you had. That's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, man. It's interesting that you talked about likeness, though, images and likeness, because Master P was on the Breakfast Club speaking about images and likeness, and his two youngest sons are elite basketball players. One of them, Hersey Miller, is going to Tennessee State this fall, and he said, MB, once they okay this image and likeness thing, he has a $2.5 million deal on the table.
Yeah,
will be the highest promoted, have the highest promotion deal out of any of the kids, whether you're talking HBCU or not, or elite college or PWIs, as I learned about they call it. This thing can get really big, and if they do a good job marketing wise, and these young kids hear about this overtime team that's able to generate that kind of money outside of basketball, it's a wrap. Yeah. Bye high schools.
I think you've already seen it for soccer and for basketball worldwide. So I as far as what's going on internationally, so it's going to survive whether they partner up with the NBA in some sort of tiered system. I think that's a whole nother story for a different day. But this overtime's already got a crazy platform. I mean, it's beyond our generation, but it's there right now.
Right. So MB, Steve hollered at us a little bit earlier, and he was talking about making the transition from high school to college to the pros, and he's ending it at the pros. But I thought this would be a great time, and we can break down the college to the NFL, on another show, MB. But I thought this would be a great time to break down a little bit of high school to college. And obviously you can speak up from it from a player's perspective and a coach's perspective, but it's not as easy as a transition as people think. And it is not even the football part that's the hardest transition for the most part. It's the emotional roller coaster of all the other stuff that regular kids struggle with. And you got football or basketball or soccer or baseball or whatever it is the other sport and the pressures that come along with those. MB, did you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, from what you're talking about, it's obviously you got a lot of different levels in the sense of you got to make your adjustment on a social level. You know, some kid, I know for me, I went to Miami. I'm from Homestead. That was only a 45-minute drive, but it felt like that was the first time I ever been on UM campus when I came to visit. And then you go, and so socially you got to adjust, right? I was fortunate enough where I can go home and get homesick. I can go home, get a hot meal or something like that and take friends with me. But those guys are going out of state. It's adjustment for them, you know? And then so you got that from a social standpoint adjusting. Then you got from a school standpoint adjusting. Now you're on a schedule, being a student athlete, right? You got to go to class. You got to go this. You got to take care of that. You got a proper amount of study time that you got to do. That's why in college, what we did, we made all our freshmen mandatory 10 hours a week study hall so you can help with that adjustment, you know? So, but from a school standpoint, so socially you got to adjust, school you got to adjust, you know? And then from a skill standpoint, from a whatever, whether football, basketball, whatever, you got to adjust to that level, right?
Right.
And then from a strength training standpoint, you got to adjust, right? And what we used to tell our kids all the time, our athletes, is like, man, talent ain't enough. Like, you got to work. Talent ain't enough. You can't make it to where you want to be the best you could be just if you just relying on your talent. And so a lot of times kids, it's an eye opener because they're like, man, they didn't know it took all that. Well, you got to work, man. You got to you got to pay the price to be the best, you know? And so from those different levels, like I said, from a social standpoint, adjusting to the campus, right? Because you see some dudes, you be like, that dude ain't gonna make it. Because they at college, they're not managing their time management. Yep. Socially, they sitting there playing video games all day, right? You're like, nah, he ain't gonna make it. He gonna get caught out there, or you got your nose wide open, you chasing. At Seattle, we used to call it the 13s, the girls, you know, so, because you got the 12 the fan base. He said, but watch those 13s, you know. So you got those 13s coming at you, whatnot. Which you know, like I said,
the 12th man's an advantage. The 13th ain't.
You get the right 13, right? You get the right 13. Right? But that's the thing. So it's a lot of adjustments that you got to make, you know, socially, like I said, school-wise, skill-wise, and then life skill-wise too, where you got to make the right decisions and you got to be disciplined. And that's just a little bit of it, man, you know. And any one of those things off, man, it could affect the whole ship, you know.
Wow. I just, you know, and when we were putting this together, I was just sitting there thinking, man, like, people just see you on Saturday and all they think is that's all you've been doing all week. Like, they really think all you've been doing all week is prepping for this big time game, not realizing you've been writing papers, you've been going to study hall, you've been leaving practice to study at night after training table. And then, you know, they have no concept of that. And then you have to work in weight room, like MB was saying, in between classes. And don't let them call you a student athlete. You're an athletic student, because they never set your schedule around your school schedule around practice schedule. You know what I'm saying? Like, your practice schedule come first. So schedule a class during practice if you want to. That thing will disappear quick. And then you, like MB said, just the social aspect, just walking around campus, hanging out, learning new people, you know, getting your little, you know, kind of like in high school, you had your crew. Now, football guys, it's always going to be your teammates. But then there's the regular students that you get to know through classes and stuff like that, that you start to, you know, have common bonds with. You hang out with them too. But it's just so much, like, mentally, that you can get overwhelmed with. And like MB said, not only as a coach, we knew as players, oh, bro, he ain't gonna make it. And we try to run to you and say, look, man, you can't do this. You got to do it like this. Then you can do that. but you can't be running straight there doing this. And some of them, most of them listen, some of them don't. And they be getting that call to the coach's office. And then the biggest thing that you notice who hasn't been disciplined like their entire life leading up to that moment, because nobody's coming to your door knocking on it. Like, they give you that schedule, bro, and you better be there, or it's consequences. Nobody's calling you until you late, and they go to looking for you. That's when you'll get the phone call. The phone call don't come to wake you up. The phone call comes after you in trouble.
So you make a good point. In college, you have some sort of a system. You know, it's the first time getting away from mom and dad, and you're responsible for yourself. But if you're a 15, 16, 17-year-old going to play professional basketball, you know, who's there going to be responsible for you then? You're dealing with a handler, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure on that level, if they're investing that money, they're gonna have somebody on them, you know, to help them, or like somebody within the family. You see these guys that get drafted, high school guys get drafted 1 year removed. They got somebody, one of the parents come move in with them or something like that, just to help them with that adjustment, you know. But just like with college, though, I mean, for me, being a student athlete, it does have its advantage in this regards, because if you're a normal student, right, you ain't got nobody, you got to do it fend for yourself. You got to learn. But at least as a student athlete, right, you get to organize. Like they got a system that's set up, and they got the support to help you, so you can be successful. You know what I'm saying? So, for example,
you got your athletic table, you got your tutors. Right.
That's what I'm saying. And that they put a system together for you, right? That if you follow it and you're on top of it, it's going to be successful. Like when I was at Miami, coaching at Miami, playing at Miami, right? Our academic support staff, Dave Wyman and Dr. Anna Price, man, they stayed on top of you. They made you get the syllabus from class. You turn it into them. You got tutoring round the clock, you know, boom, boom, boom. You had an academic counselor that's been assigned to you, and they're going to walk you through that to help you with time management, help you plan out your schedule from that academic standpoint. Then you got, from a football standpoint, you got your schedule. Then from a weight training coach, you got your schedule, right? And then you got these different layers, and then now time is of the essence, right? Because you don't have time to waste like a normal student does, because you got so much going on, you know, that you got to be on point with what's going on. You got to be disciplined. You got to put in the work. And it's a sad case with a lot of guys, and this is why I say talent is not enough, that they just want to lean on their talent and just think like, what's that, Bell DeVoe, like a big butt and a smile, or smile, and athletics going to get them out of their responsibility. And it's a wake-up call for a lot of these guys, because you see, unfortunately, it's still a percentage of guys that's been pushed through because they've been athletes or whatnot. You know, somebody give them a free pass. And it's a wake-up call.
It might have worked in high school. They were the best athlete, but then you get to college and everyone's a great athlete on that team, or at least, you know, they're good enough to get that scholarship. And then the same as you make that jump to the pros, it's not just about having the skill. Do you have what it takes from the neck up to put in the 110% and go the extra mile, you know?
Yeah, no doubt. And that's the thing. And like I said, the higher you go, that talent level dwindle down, and like, you're going to have to work, man. You're going to have to pay the price to be the best. Steve was asking me what time I went to bed. Steve, I made a mistake, man. And they told me not to do it. But when I first got to college, I signed up for those 8 o'clock class, you know? Yep. And I was like, I can do 8 o'clock. Shoot, high school, we had to get up 6 o'clock. You be on the phone all night, fall asleep, go. Man, you get to college, you get that 8 o'clock class. Oh, my God, you been up playing video games or cards or whatever we doing at UM 36 building, man. And boy, hey, man, and then the thing about college, this the other thing, like, with the UM, I mean, they do class check, man. You're not in class, they find you be part of that breakfast club. So I learned the hard way, man. I had to go to breakfast club, man. Bill Ferran, oh man, he got me, man. He killed me, bro. I threw up, man. I was like, man, I ain't gonna never miss a class again, you know. So I discipline myself to learn the right way because, like you said, you can't. Shoot, we had promo. They had a little rack club on campus on Thursday night. Man, they called promo night. Man, they be going to the right scaler, man. Oh man, but we had to get prepared for a game, so you didn't have that luxury. So you got to be disciplined and understand, man. Just like you're a student athlete, man, and you got more responsibility, and you got to take care of your body and some things that you got to do, and so you got to be more disciplined. So if you don't grow up quick and understand it, then you're gonna have a wake up call, man. You're gonna have a wake up call. It's not gonna look good, you know. It's not gonna look good, man. But that's the thing. That transition, you know, making that transition, like I said, it's so many different layers, right? That you know you got to be on top of. Like Double A, when you went to college, I mean, just from being just a student, like what was the transition that you had to deal with?
Going away from home, 8 o'clock in the morning classes. I almost didn't make it through my first semester. You know, you learn by trial by fire. You got to go beg these teachers. Hey, I couldn't even wake up for your class. You know.
Right.
So
and then what was the hardest? That was the hardest adjustment for you, being away from home, 8 o'clock class, right?
8 o'clock class, not knowing I had a sleep disorder. In hindsight, my college career would have gone a lot differently, I think, if I would have known that I didn't treat my sleep back in those days. But that's a different story for a different show. So
right, and then you had to fend for yourself, right? I mean, that's one thing about being a student athlete. The advantage is that you have the support, you know, that you're not alone, but you got to use your help, you know.
You're not coming home to you're not coming home to mom's fridge. You know, you got breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You're on your own. You know, you're either with your friends, whoever, and you know, when you move off campus, it's the first time you're paying rent. You know, it's
yeah. You got to grow up, and then that teacher. It's not like high school where that teacher say, you know, hey, you need to turn in an assignment, or they sending you to the principal. If you don't turn in your work, that's on you.
They don't care. Yeah.
Yeah, they got you already paid for that class. You better drop ad. You better know when that drop, when you got to withdraw from that class. You know.
I went from being a person in a little small school to going out to the University of Arizona, and I think in my first freshman psychology class was like 1,200 people or something like that. You become a number real quick. They don't know. Like, oh, yeah.
But you got to fend for yourself, man. So no doubt. But listen, man, hey, Double A, appreciate you coming on, man. K. Lou had to jump out right quick, you know?
Yeah.
And he had to jump out, take care of some stuff, man. But, man, Double A, like always, man, appreciate the love, especially short notice. I called you, like 3 hours before the show, boy, and I was like, man, we was talking about this. I say, man, you got to be a part of it because I know you and I was talking about this before. So, man, I appreciate you coming on and being part of the show, man. Thank you so much.
I think you know it's my pleasure, Mike. But I really think where the NCAA goes in the future is going to be really interesting with all these platforms and what's going on with these different professional leagues in each sport. Because name and likeness, the business side of it's all intermingling now. So maybe that's the show for another time. But there's something to be said about all of this.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, I was reading the overtime and how they focus on a 16 or 18-year-old. And it was the same thing. They see these AAU coaches getting paid money. It was like these parents, like one of the things, it was like one of the reasons, like the economic impact that they can have. So you talk about the name and likeness and stuff with the NC2A. I know that they're going through the court case right now trying to justify or figure all that stuff out. You know, but
they sell a lot of team jerseys and a lot of numbers. You know,
exactly.
those players don't see that money. The schools do. So. You know,
exactly.
people are a lot wiser to that, so it's going to be interesting to see how this all falls out. So,
and then now with this new league in high school, they seem like they woke to it too. It's going to filter down to the high school level as well. You know, because the quote unquote to be an amateur mean you can't get paid. You know, I think that Webster definition is about to be changed real soon. You know,
this ain't the Olympics.
Appreciate you. What'd you say, Double A?
That's what they used to say about the Olympic athletes. They were always amateurs. They had to go get their own money, raise their own sponsorship, and
exactly.
and dealing against these other countries were treated like professionals back in the day.
Exactly.
So
exactly, no doubt, man. Hey, well, listen, man, from sideline to baseline, man, we appreciate you guys coming on today, joining us. Steve, man, appreciate you, man. The G-Man, baby. The G-Man getting it done, baby. Man, y'all have a great day. We'll see you on Lord willing. We'll see you this Friday, man. Same time, man. All right, make sure y'all tune in. Make sure you subscribe and follow so you get the notifications. All right, y'all take care now. From sideline baseline is MBK Lou and Double A. Peace. We're out.